The courtroom cameras were rolling when Madison Hartwell made the mistake that would destroy her perfect life, dressed in luxury brands from head to toe, wearing designer heels worth more than most people's monthly rent. The 24-year-old daughter of powerful Mayor Richard Hartwell walked confidently into Judge Judy's courtroom, believing she was untouchable. She thought this case would disappear the same way every scandal in her life had disappeared before. But she was wrong, because sitting across from her wasn't just another employee she could intimidate. It was Rosa Martinez, a struggling single mother who had spent 2 years quietly enduring humiliation while working for the Hartwell family. And this time, someone had recorded everything. What started as a lawsuit over unpaid wages would quickly explode into one of the most emotional and unforgettable courtroom moments Judge Judy had ever seen. By the end of the hearing, a powerful mayor would publicly turn against his own daughter. A spoiled millionaire would completely break down in tears, and millions of viewers around the country would witness the moment privilege finally collided with accountability. Before we get into this unbelievable courtroom showdown, make sure to subscribe for more powerful Judge Judy stories, emotional courtroom drama, and real-life cases where truth always wins. Now let's begin. Rosa Martinez had spent her entire adult life fighting for survival. 15 years earlier, she arrived in America with almost nothing except determination and hope for a better future for her children. She worked exhausting hours cleaning homes, caring for children, and taking every opportunity she could find just to keep food on the table. Even during the hardest times, Rosa never stopped believing that hard work and dignity mattered. At 38 years old, she was raising 3 children alone. Her oldest daughter dreamed of becoming a nurse. Her youngest son loved science and wanted to become an engineer someday. Every sacrifice Rosa made was for them. That's why, when she got the opportunity to work for the wealthy Hartwell family as a live-in nanny, she believed her life might finally be improving. The salary was better than any job she'd had before. The position included a small guest house on the property. And for the first time in years, Rosa felt like maybe she could finally start saving money for her future. But she quickly realized working for Madison Hartwell would become a nightmare. Madison had grown up surrounded by money, privilege, and unlimited protection from consequences. She had never worked a real job, never struggled to pay bills, never worried about groceries or rent. Her father, Mayor Richard Hartwell, had spent decades building political power in the city, and Madison grew up believing her family was above ordinary people. To her, workers like Rosa weren't human beings with feelings and families, they were servants. Invisible people meant to make her life easier. For 2 years, Rosa endured Madison's cruel behavior, constant insults, condescending comments, public humiliation in front of guests. Madison treated every employee in the mansion as if they were beneath her. But Rosa tolerated it because she needed the income. Her children depended on her. Then came the brunch party that changed everything. On a Sunday afternoon in April, Madison hosted a private gathering at the Hartwell mansion for several wealthy socialite friends. Champagne flowed freely. Designer handbags covered the dining room chairs. The women spent hours gossiping, laughing, and posting photos online while Rosa quietly worked in the background, caring for the children and handling household duties. At one point, one of Madison's friends complained about seeing Rosa walk through the dining area. "She should really use the back entrance," the woman laughed. "The help ruins the atmosphere." The entire table laughed. Madison smirked and told Rosa to stay in the kitchen with the other servants. Rosa swallowed her humiliation and continued working silently. But things got even worse an hour later. One of Madison's children became upset and started crying. Rosa gently carried the child into the dining room and politely asked Madison what she wanted prepared for lunch. That's when Madison looked directly at Rosa in front of everyone and said the words that would eventually go viral across the entire internet. "My dog eats better than your kids ever will." The room exploded with laughter. Madison wasn't finished. She glanced at Rosa's worn shoes and simple clothes before adding, "Maybe that's why you're desperate enough to work here." One of the guests recorded the entire moment on her phone while laughing into her champagne glass. The video captured everything: the cruelty, the humiliation, the heartbreak on Rosa's face. But Rosa stayed calm. She took the child back to the kitchen and finished her work. That night, after putting Madison's children to bed, Rosa approached Madison privately and respectfully explained that the comment about her children had deeply hurt her. She simply asked to be treated with dignity. Madison's response shocked her. "You're fired. No notice, no apology, no final paycheck." Madison ordered Rosa to leave the guest house before morning. When Rosa asked about the wages she was still owed, Madison laughed and said, "Consider it payment for learning your place." That night, Rosa packed her belongings into trash bags and left the mansion with nowhere to go. But unlike the previous employees Madison had silenced with money and legal threats, Rosa decided to fight back. 3 days later, the viral video hit social media. Within hours, millions of people watched the footage of Madison humiliating a hard-working mother. The backlash was immediate. News channels picked up the story. Social media exploded with outrage. Protesters gathered outside City Hall demanding accountability. People were horrified by Madison's cruelty and disgusted by the Hartwell family's history of using money to bury scandals. Then Rosa filed a lawsuit for unpaid wages, emotional distress, and wrongful termination. And that lawsuit eventually brought both women face to face in Judge Judy's courtroom. The morning of the hearing, the courtroom was packed. Reporters filled the gallery. Labor rights activists sat quietly watching. Everyone wanted to see whether another wealthy family would escape consequences yet again. Rosa arrived early, wearing simple black clothes and carrying a folder filled with evidence. Madison arrived late, still talking on her phone. Still acting annoyed that she had to attend court at all, Judge Judy immediately noticed the arrogance, the eye-rolling, the dismissive attitude, the way Madison barely acknowledged Rosa sitting across from her. Judge Judy had dealt with entitled people for decades, and within seconds she already understood exactly who Madison Hartwell was. The hearing began. Madison dismissed Rosa as just a babysitter, claimed Rosa should feel grateful for the opportunity to work for such a wealthy family. Then came the moment Judge Judy asked about the viral comment. Rosa quietly repeated Madison's words, "My dog eats better than your kids ever will." The courtroom fell silent. Judge Judy stared directly at Madison. "Did you say that?" Madison rolled her eyes. "It was a joke." Judge Judy's expression hardened instantly. "A joke? What exactly is funny about humiliating someone's children?" For the first time all morning, Madison seemed uncomfortable, but instead of apologizing, she doubled down. "You wouldn't understand rich people humor." The entire courtroom reacted. Even the reporters looked stunned. Judge Judy slowly removed her glasses, and then came the destruction. "Rich people humor," Judge Judy repeated coldly. "Miss Hartwell, what exactly have you accomplished besides spending your father's money?" Madison's face turned red, but she made the fatal mistake of bringing up her father's power. "My father is Mayor Hartwell," she snapped. The courtroom instantly went silent. Judge Judy leaned forward. "I don't care if your father is the President of the United States. In this courtroom, your last name means nothing." That was the exact moment everything changed, because sitting quietly in the back row was Mayor Richard Hartwell himself, and moments later he stood up. The powerful mayor slowly walked toward the front of the courtroom while his daughter stared at him in panic. Then, in front of everyone, he publicly admitted the truth. He confessed that years of protecting Madison from consequences had turned her into someone cruel and entitled. He admitted paying off previous employees to stay quiet. He admitted using money and influence to erase scandals. And finally, he said he was done protecting her. Madison completely broke down, crying uncontrollably, begging her father to fix this like he always had before. But Mayor Hartwell refused. Then Judge Judy delivered her final verdict: $15. Zeros in unpaid wages, $25,000 in emotional damages, a mandatory public apology video, and a brutal lecture about privilege, cruelty, and character. By the end of the hearing, Madison Hartwell walked out of the courtroom completely shattered, and Rosa Martinez walked out with her dignity restored. 6 months later, Madison was reportedly working a regular job, living in a small apartment without her father's money, and Rosa finally opened the cleaning business she had dreamed about for years. Because sometimes justice isn't just about money. Sometimes it's about finally forcing someone to see the humanity in people they spent their entire lives looking down on.